Today we are going to show you how to use your timbre selection with the Roland FA-06 selecting the timbres. The situation with the FA-06 is not as good as with the VR-09. In place of the registrations, you have the favorites, and you can select a bank, and then you have 10 buttons 0 to 9 for your tone. So you can it behaves the same as the registrations with bank and number in the bank, but the only problem is that you don't have individual programmable control over what program change number is transmitted from a specific registration button. There is no registration button link like in the VR-09. Rather, the program number that's transmitted is whatever tone you happen to put into that memory location. So the registration locations in the FA-06 will contain a fixed number depending on what tone happens to be in it, and the program change numbers are linked to the internal tones themselves. And since it has literally thousands of tones, the numbers repeat. The only way to identify what program change number is being transmitted from a given tone is to look in the documentation. The sound list manual that comes along with the FA-06 tells you the bank numbers as well as the program numbers. But unfortunately, since the D-110 only has a limited number of tones, it doesn't respond very well to bank selection, and it only really has 128 unless you have the external sound card. If you put in a sound card, then you can get another 128. So really and truly, in order to use it with this keyboard, you would have to just load an internal tone into each of your registration buttons that transmits the particular program number that you want. Now you do have to turn on program number transmission, which in the FA-06 is simply a matter of going to the menu and selecting the system and going to the MIDI category, and see it's right there, transmit program change numbers on. So we've already set it to on. Then you just press exit, and lo and behold, every time you change a tone, either sequentially or at random, well, depending on how you have them loaded into the tone numbers. See, we're going all over the place with our favorite tones that we've loaded into the presets in a certain order. And over here on the D-110, it's jumping all over the place. In other words, if you look at those timbre numbers, they're going all over the place because they're not following any specific order. So in other words, setting up a set for your D-110 if you're using this keyboard would be a question of coming to a compromise. If you're using internal tones along with your D-110, then you'll have to set your internal tones into your registration, into your favorite bank, in such a way that it will work for you. And then in terms of the D-110, you will have to program the tones that you want into those specific timbre numbers that will work along with the ones that you're playing internally. If you're not using the internal information inside of the FA-06, then you simply pick tones that have the program change numbers that you want and configure your tones in here to the timbre numbers to go along with it. So you'll have to decide how you want to work if using the FA-06, but it's not quite as flexible as when using the VR-09 as a performance mode keyboard.